Mindfulness of the 8 pairs of mind. Observing your mind isn't easy. When you observe your body, you can feel it. When you observe your feelings, you directly experience them. But the mind is tricky. It can jump from thinking about one thing to another in a snap. It's not straightforward. The mind is what knows and thinks. It guides thoughts and is always with them. We can broadly classify the mind into 2 types. The default mind and the mindful mind. Let's start by checking our usual way of thinking, our default mind. First, look for the greedy mind, the one that craves pleasant feelings. This can show up in wanting junk food, sugar, phone scrolling, video games, sex, smoking, drinking, or even using illicit drugs. Take a moment to see if you're feeling any sort of craving right now. If you are, pay attention to how your body feels. Any tightness, discomfort, or tension. Also, notice the thoughts and emotions that come with this craving. Don't act on it. Just observe. Now, see if you can recognize moments when greed softens or disappears, even for a brief time. If there's no craving, notice how it feels. Is it peaceful and clear? Notice this mind without greed. Any sense of contentment or even generosity? Now see if there's an angry mind, the one that resists unpleasant feelings. If you're feeling angry, notice how it feels physically. Any tightness or heat in your body. Pay attention to the thoughts that come with anger. Take a breath and let them come and go without reacting. If you feel the urge to speak or act angrily, come back to your breath and handle it with care, like a mother caring for her child. Now shift your awareness to moments when your mind feels free of that anger, when there's calm or even kindness. If there's no anger, notice how the mind feels. Is it peaceful? Is your mind clear? Notice this mind without anger. Next, check if your mind is wandering without any clear direction. The ignorant mind. If it's there, notice how it feels in your body and mind. If it's not, notice the mind without ignorance. How does it feel? How does it feel when you're mindful, fully in the present moment? Is your mind peaceful and clear? These are the first three pairs of the default mind. Now let's look at the fourth pair. The distracted mind and the contracted mind. Check for the distracted mind. Is your mind all over the place? Restless and hard to focus? Full of thoughts? If yes, just acknowledge that your mind is distracted. Next, check for a contracted mind. Does your mind feel sleepy, slow, dull, lazy, or like you want to put things off? If yes, simply recognize that your mind is contracted. Now, let's move on to observe the mindful mind. The state of mind when mindfulness is present. How does it feel when your mind is mindful? Observe the scope of your attention. Is it broad? Like when you're focusing on boundless love? Or is it narrow? Like when you're concentrating on the breath? Check if your mind is concentrated or not. Does it feel focused and centered? Or is it unfocused and scattered? If your mind is concentrated, notice if your mind is focusing on specific forms, like certain objects or concepts, such as the breath or the body. Or if it is focusing on something formless, such as the space or consciousness, going beyond all forms and concepts, unsurpassable. Check if your mind is liberated from all kinds of automatic thoughts, or if it is not liberated, still stuck with its automatic patterns of thinking. Observe these four pairs of the mindful mind. The broad mind, the narrow mind, the concentrated mind, the unconcentrated mind. The surpassable mind, focusing on form, the unsurpassable mind, focusing on the formless, the liberated mind, and the unliberated mind. In other words, you know a greedy mind to be greedy, and a mind without greed to be without greed. You know an angry mind to be angry, and a mind without anger to be without anger. You know an ignorant mind to be ignorant, and a mind without ignorance to be without ignorance. You know a contracted mind to be contracted, and a distracted mind to be distracted. You know a broad mind to be broad, and a narrow mind to be narrow. You know a concentrated mind to be concentrated, and an unconcentrated mind to be unconcentrated. You know a surpassable mind to be surpassable, and an unsurpassable mind to be unsurpassable. You know a liberated mind to be liberated, and an unliberated mind to be unliberated. Now, let's finish by realizing the value of understanding your mind, whether in the default mode or with mindfulness. Then, come back to feeling your body, aware of your breath, and slowly open your eyes.